Sure. As I mentioned, post-game at Texas, another difficult game. Very good football team on the road, very challenging environment. They're, once again, very inconsistent. I thought we did some good things at times, but overall not good enough. Need to play a complete game against a team like that, and that didn't happen. So looking to get back on track here this week. Another big game, rivalry game. Be excited to be back home, senior day. So a lot going on, a lot to play for, and excited about this opportunity with Louisville. A team that's always very well coached. I think Jeff does a very good job. They're good on both sides of the ball. Ron English, their defensive coordinator, Jeff, Brian Brom, do a great job offensively. So we'll have our hands full and excited about this opportunity.
The way Cutter played the last 2 weeks, does he get to start this week?
He does. He does get to start, yeah.
What did you like about the way he responded to that difficult atmosphere?
I thought he just handled himself very well. Once again, just he thought he had a lot of poise in the pocket. I thought he distributed the football. Had the vision to hit open receivers. The arm strength to get the ball down the field on a second play. You saw a lot of good things. Even the play that was called back for a hold, an all-out pressure. It gave some ground, threw it to an open area, completed a very difficult pass there. So I thought he did some really good things, and, he deserves the opportunity to get a start here this week.
Mark, your players really get up for the Louisville game. Going back to year 2, when stuff's going on. What about this rivalry? How come, no matter, pretty much regardless of circumstance, you're able to get them ready to play?
Yeah, I think it's been important. I think you heard me say that the first time we played them, and we hadn't done very much, and they were top 5, top 10 team at the time, and I never shied away from the importance of this game. Told you that day one, game one, and I'll say it again, again this year. It doesn't really matter what the records are or anything like that. I have a lot of respect for Jeff and the way he coaches and their program. But it's important. It's important to our fan base. It's important to our players. It's important to me that we go play well.
Mark, you did embrace this from the first game on. How quickly did you learn about, you knew rivalries being at Florida State, but yeah. At what point did you really get a feel for UK fans wanting this game in your first year?
Yeah, it didn't take long. I think, early on, the minute I got here, I think I felt that, from the fan base. And, once you're in these rivalry games, you get a good feel for it right away, and certainly the intensity is there, it's important. So it didn't take me long.
Mark, what have you seen from just their offense this year? 3,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard receiver, that back Brown will get 1,000-yard rusher. I guess that's the goal.
Yeah, I think they, really have done a nice job, built around a quarterback with a ton of experience, and as I mentioned, I think Jeff and Brian both do a great job. Brian being the offense coordinator, of course, Jeff, I'm sure, heavily involved. They always do a good job. I think they have a very balanced offense. It starts, like any good offense, starts with some run game. They're committed to the zone scheme, but he mixes in enough gap scheme with counters and even a little two-back. Influence to make sure you commit into the run game and mixing up the run game to set up the pass. And pass game, they're always very efficient. Can spread it around when they have to horizontally, but they also always are going to set up the deep shots with the run game. So you could count on them trying to push the ball down the field once again.
Mark, as we talk about needing to fill holes in the portal over the next month, how do you evaluate last year's portal class? What went right, what didn't go right, and are there any lessons lessons there?
Yeah, I think you just learn from any situation, whether any type of recruiting, whether it's high school or portal or any situation like that. I think you always have to, just do the best you can, evaluate it, make sure, we get some problems fixed.
Mark, in terms of the long-term future of the offensive line, are the pieces in place, young people that can be developed, or do you have to get back in the portal pretty aggressive?
No, I think we have to get in the portal with some positions, but I feel good about the inside, pieces. We need some depth at center, and obviously losing Eli is a big piece of it. It's been really steady for us. I think there's no mystery that we need some help at tackle. And, inside, I think with Jagger, Jalen, Abba, and Dylan are all guys that have played good football for us inside. I mean, we need to go get some help at tackle for sure.
Where have you seen Cutter progress as this year's gone on? I mean, in practice and just in his preparation and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think just, right away, I think we saw a lot of talent, but, as I mentioned, I think it was last week's press conference, seeing him from his first game experience even to the next time he got that opportunity prior to Murray, just something, a little different, with his approach. He's always very serious. He wants to be great and is committed, with his time and all that. But, I think maybe, a little light or a switch went off that like there's a lot of little details that I talk about all the time with all players. And I feel like he's really tuned in. I think part of that is opportunity with us, right? It's hard to get QB1 reps. It's really important for that starting quarterback to get reps and to get enough reps. And that's the problem with when you go to quarterback 2, 3, or 4, I feel like there's good players on our team. I've said that before, even with Bo. It's just very difficult to get them the reps. And even in games, it's tough. So we've made it a conscious effort to get Cutter some reps the past couple weeks and get him time in practice, during that bye week to get him prepped and ready for it. And ever since the bye week, I think you've seen him go out there and execute at a higher level.
After the game that he thought redshirting this year was really beneficial to him. How do you see that versus if you had just said he's the number 2 guy from week 1?
Yeah, we talked about that, even coming into it, with his recruitment and him being ready. I mean, if you just look at him, the way he's mentally grown, even physically, the weight that he's put on and things like that, and it doesn't take you guys long to see, how physical and how hard it is to play in this league. And I'm not sure there's a perfect way to do any of that. When a young man's ready, he's ready. This is his first start, and I feel like he's ready for that. And I'm excited for him. I'm excited for our team.
Every time we talk to the team about Cutter, they visibly get excited speaking about him. What is it about him and maybe his personality or leadership that guys really want to rally behind him?
Yeah, he's got that feel. He's got the moxie. He's the type of guy, he gets along with absolutely everybody on the team. He fits in with everybody. He's just got a very good personality that way. I think they know he's got that moxie or swagger or whatever you want to call it, that when he gets in there, he has a strong belief in himself, and he sees the field well as also.
Especially for a freshman, he seems to be patient in the pocket, have good pocket orders. In your experience, is that something is that a learned skill, or is that something either you have it or you don't have it?
I think it's fair to say a little bit of both on that. Definitely experience matters, in that internal clock. But as I mentioned the other day, in a tough environment against the top, 5 team in the country, on the road and all-out pressure, give a little ground and throw it to a space. I'm not sure TV does it justice. I don't know. I didn't see the TV copy, but, I look at it on film and you see the way he had the awareness, the presence, he was calm, backed up, and threw it to an open space. It was pretty impressive play. And, there's many more like that in there. I'd like to see us give him a little bit more time so he can operate more efficiently. And the same goes for Brock. I always have to defend and stand up for Brock because I think the absolute world of him. He's given us everything he has. And we know we have some areas that need to be improved, and that falls on me. And I know, Bush gets a lot of heat, and, the offense and the quarterback and everybody, I understand that. And it's not just coach speak. I'll take that, and I'll also work to get it fixed. We're very excited to get it fixed and move forward.
Saturday felt like one of those frustrating games for Barry on, where even on the big catch, there might have been more yards there and a couple other plays where he made the wrong cat, got the kickoff. Just how do you evaluate his season overall? The numbers have gone down again.
Yeah, I think I think the frustration sets in with that, and I think again we all can do a better job of that of getting that balance of being very excited to play a game, but also play within ourselves and just operate within what we're all capable of doing, and that's something that I truly need to look at and reassess and make sure that we're prepared. I think our guys get very excited. You've always heard me talk about playing with an edge and an attitude, but it comes down to discipline, execution all the time. And so, I think we always need to be prepared and play and ready to play at a high level. It's just, how disciplined can we execute? And I think, that's not just on him. That's on everybody and myself and the whole group, that we just need to do a better job with that.
Coach, to piggyback off that, obviously back to Cutter, first start, local kid playing arch rivals, first home game as well, first start. How do you guys kind of get him prepared? Obviously, a lot will probably be going through his mind and his heart ahead of Saturday.
Yeah, just the same way we've been prepping with him. When Brock was down during the bye week, he got all the number one reps. Brock was hurt heading into the next week as well with Murray. So again, he got a lot of the number one reps and was prepared. I think that carried over to the game. Last week, I said that Brock was starting, and he was, and he got probably 80% or more of the number one reps, but Cutter got all the twos, and was getting prepared, and that carried over. So for him, it'll be business as usual. Just get in there. He will be the starter. You've heard me comment about his demeanor for a long time, and I expect that to carry into this week. That he's very mature, he's very calm, you know what I mean, and I expect him to be the same way. Just go in there and play ball and trust the people around him. We have to make sure we have a good plan and try to protect them and get rid of the football and do the things necessary to play well around him. I'd say the same thing for Brock. It's not all on any one person. We have to do a good job around him.
Mark, you haven't always put that decision out there for the opponent ahead of time. Did you feel like there was a benefit to go ahead and say we're going with Cutter?
You guys are going to find out tonight anyway. Truthfully, when he's under center today at practice, it's going to get out. I'm no fool. So I don't see any reason to withhold it. I think I've always been forthright with you guys. Sometimes I truthfully am going to not know until we work through it, and so it's actually not listed that way because I didn't tell Susan or Tony until we worked through it. It's not for any other reason other than we're working through things. Last night and into today, they're doing their job, we're doing ours. I didn't see them. I told Susan and Tony maybe 30 minutes ago, and they didn't have time to switch it.
Mark, it's going to be the first cold weather game this season.
Mm-hmm.
Does that bring any additional challenges with the young quarterback?
I think it does. It just makes sure it just does with the grip and with the ball and ball security and things of that nature. It does change. It is harder, and so we just got to work it. And we'll be out there all week, and we just got to make sure we do the best we can. It's the same for both teams. But we do have to be prepared for that. It is a little bit different.
Mark, you were decided underdogs, obviously, going into last week's game, and yet middle of the second quarter in that environment, it's a 7-7 game. Have you been seeing more of the on-field leadership that you were talking about a few weeks ago when you felt like you needed more of that?
Yeah, I think, I told you last week that I didn't think our team would have any problem being prepared and being ready. Now, executing all the way through the game and playing a perfect game. We had to play a good game. We had to play the best we had played all season, and, that didn't happen, but I still love their attitude and their effort and the way they prepared. And I expect the same thing this week.
Mark, could you talk just a bit about the Louisville defense for a second? It looks like they've got some players at each level now that I think they've taken a huge step forward.
Yeah, I agree. Ron English has been around a long time. I really like Ron. I think he's a very good coach, very solid. You could see that with the way they play. They're just fundamentally sound. They play hard, and you have to beat them. You have to go win. Get them blocked, make them miss, make tough throws and, tough catches, the whole deal. Same thing, we're used to it. We play a lot of good defenses, and, this will be another one.
As we talk about recruiting, filling holes in the portal, how do you feel about keeping your best guys? You've only lost one starter since the portal came open. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we've been very successful at that, but it's always a different time and a different age, and, we will get into all that. Behind the scenes, we have to, anticipate, look at things, have a feel, for that. Quite honestly, we need some attrition, but, obviously we want to keep our best players here and build that foundation and take care of those players, and then go out and supplement and bring in some as well.
Last week you said you were excited about the challenge that's coming ahead in December. Structurally, is there any reinforcements coming? I know you've talked a lot about just the challenges of fundraising and that sort of deal. Are there things happening behind the scenes to structurally change how you all handle NIL in the portal?
Yes, we're in a better position right now than I've ever been, and so hopefully, that'll carry over. That doesn't mean it's an end-all be-all, but we've worked hard behind the scenes to put ourselves in a position to try to catch up.
I was going to ask me out what in the season that Chip envisioned for himself. What do you think he got out of this season?
Chip, pardon? Well, Chip was injured 90%, 80% of the season, so it's pretty hard to truly get a great evaluation of somebody that, really had 2 injuries that were pretty tough.
And for you guys, how much of that shift, what you guys had to do running backs? A lot of us expected he was in a pretty big, piece of that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We had to deal with it, and I think one thing that came from it is you saw Jamarion, with Demi. I felt like we knew what we had in Demi, and Demi gave it everything he has and still he gives us everything all the time, and really appreciate Demi and the role that he had. And then with Jamarion, you saw a youngster get pushed into some playing time, and we saw some real ability there.
Mark, how did you think your defense played when you went back and looked at the film?
It was hit and miss, just kind of how I felt after the game. I felt like it was going to be hard, and it was one of those games, as I mentioned, Coach White, Brad does a great job, but we just felt like we were going to maybe take some shots, if you will, take some chances, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it's going to backfire. When you play a really good team like that and a good play caller, there's going to be some hit and miss, and again, that going into it. Give them some credit. They can make you miss. They blocked really well. They picked up a lot of different pressures. They can make you miss, and the quarterback did a nice job at times, just hitting his check downs and moving the chains, and it was a tough task.
How would you evaluate Deion's year? Sometimes he's always a guy who draws a lot of attention, so it's kind of hard for us to tell.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to get into summarizing any one player, what they did or didn't do. That's not fair to any of them. But Deion's a great player and a great leader, and has given us everything he can. I think he would be like any player on the team, saying that. On anybody. I think he did a really good job of trying to battle through not being 100%, without, trying to make excuses for him, but that's just keeping it real. It's just like, Brock, when I, tried to, defend him when he wasn't 100%. And Dion went through some, some problems injury-wise where he wasn't quite 100%.
Is it fair to say a lot of the other guys around them have stepped up?
Yeah, I did. Trayvon in particular, I thought, Ox, I thought really had a fantastic, game this past week, and Trayvon's been playing exceptionally hard, doing some really good things. So, it was good to see those guys stepping up.
Coach,
What are you seeing from Willie Rodriguez?
Willie, you're seeing a very talented young player. I think, he gives us some size, some much needed size at that position, with his height and his weight. He's physical, but, he can make some people miss, make tough catches, so he's been playing good.
Coach, you talked about the transfer portal, but obviously National Signing Day is just a couple weeks away. How are you feeling about the high school class? Would you like to maybe add more people, and kind of your overall thoughts so far?
The high school class is very good. We like the players that we have in there. It's different. It's a different time. Again, so we'll see whether we add a few more. We got to continue to massage the numbers, and try to hit it, right on the head. You got the departures, you got your seniors, you got guys that may leave. You may have some guys that maybe need to leave and find some places where they could get more playing time. There's a lot of moving pieces, so we'll continue to work through that.
The moving up signing day means you won't be going on the road anymore.
Yeah.
You missed that part of the...
Yeah, so it's so strange, so, well, also, on that note, it really sucks that we're not going to a bowl game, because normally December is completely the most busy month of the year for me. As soon as we're done, in years past, they didn't even have the dead week, but now because of the portal, we have to, the first week is to get your own house in order. Who's coming back, talk to your players, see what the plans are. So they give us that week, and then normally you were right on the road. 2 or 3 years ago, I was on the road on Sunday, get done on Saturday and hit the road and then come back and bowl prep, and very, very hectic living on a plane. It'll be much different this year. I can't answer that because I haven't gone through it yet, but it'll be much different, but equally as busy, just not in a plane. Because you have to, again, work on your own roster, figure out what's going on there, sign the guys on the 4th, which is very strange, and then hit the portal. The portal opens on the 9th, so there'll be a lot going on.
Do you all have a good idea of your guys versus, do you have any idea on who's going to be in that portal when it opens December 9th?
No, I mean, no. We all, listen, it's part of the game. I don't know, somebody just brought up the fact, but like we've lost one portal starter, and again, that was kind of mutual. He was offered a lot of money, and I said, you ought to go take that. You know what I mean? And I felt like it was a position where we had some depth at the time. So, we've been fortunate. That's not to say it's always going to stay that way. Whatever it is, nobody needs to panic. Like, we have an opportunity to get this roster fixed and work hard, and that's my plan, to work hard, to get the pieces in place. I've worked hard to get resources in place, and I have to do that. We have to get it done. So that's the plan.
Mark, we know how most coaches feel about the portal. I'm sure it's the same way, but do you still enjoy going on the road, recruiting, talking to the parents and the high school coaches, or has the portal altered that for you?
No, I absolutely love doing that. That is when you get to know your players the most. When your incoming guys, when you get to go to their home and sit in there and visit with them. But that has changed. That's gone. So, and the head coaches, we're not allowed to go out in the spring. So it's totally different for us right